What is up, gamers? Today I'm working on a limited edition Palkia Dialga DS Lite. As you see, I have two of them here. I purchased one of them for parts for my customer's DS to fix up my customer's DS. Since these consoles are, of course, limited edition, they have custom colored parts. Like all of these are custom color. These are on no other DS Lite console. In order to repair his console back to OEM spec, I of course needed to purchase one. This one is, of course, in very rough shape. This is how I got it. It's all busted up like that, you can see, but it has the parts that we need to fix up my customer's DS, so we're gonna go ahead and get him fixed up. So, what's wrong with this guy? His hinge is busted. I mean, it's like busted, and there's dead pixels on the top screen. It's in really nice shape besides that busted hinge, and he wants it to be in basically as new condition as it can possibly be. So, for example, I'm replacing these two rubber pads with this DS's rubber pads. I'm replacing this top inside shell piece here with this top inside shell piece. Since it's bowing, the plastic on the inside is kind of sticking out right there. I'm hoping that'll go away. I'm sure it will. And the buttons, they're all yellowed and glossy from being used so much. So here's just a D-pad, but I'm replacing the buttons with basically brand new condition OEM factory original Nintendo buttons. I'm replacing the top screen with the top screen in this DS. This DS is, of course, original Nintendo. This top screen just matches the best I could find. I went through probably 30 DS Lites trying to find a top screen that matched this one. The color temperatures vary bit by bit. It's just really hard to find an exact match, but I think I found it. I could, of course, just swap this guy's top screen and bottom screen, but they're a totally different tint. They're more of like a white tint. These are more of like a purple tint. So I wanted him to have what he already knows. I want to restore his DS, not just replace all the parts. So that's why I'm keeping the tints the same. And then I'll use these screens for another customer's DS down the line, since they are perfect. First thing we need to do, we need to get the replacement parts handy. So first and foremost, we need the top screen out of this guy. So I need to disassemble him completely and entirely. To get the top screen free, I always start with these 4 rubber pads so that I don't need to do it later. So now that's ready to get taken apart, so now I can disassemble it from there. And then same for this one. Since we need this shell piece, we need to disassemble it the entire way. So I'm going to puncture these square pieces. Oh my goodness, that just went right on through. Because I do not want to damage the shell piece whatsoever, since that is what we are using to replace our customer's old shell piece. It's hard not to hack them up. Now, what is going on with this one? I would love to know. The screw is just way down in there. You see that? The screw is literally just way down in there. Still came out. So let's get disassembling. There's one of them. Hey, there's another one. I'm just gonna disassemble this console, and we need the top screen. There's the tiniest bit of corrosion on this top screen ribbon cable, so I'm absolutely not using this. Which really stinks because it's a perfectly working top screen otherwise, but it's basically a ticking time bomb. No matter how much you clean it, it'll still go bad in the future. So, I believe I found my candidate. Check this out. Matches really close to the bottom screen. It might look yellow at first, but if I turn it this way, all DS screens are gonna have some form of yellowing. And as we can see when we turn it sideways and even upside down, this screen is definitely yellowing towards here. And this top screen, I mean, it's more obvious on the top screen. However, there is a way to get rid of yellowing, and I'm going to do that after I fully fix this console with this slightly yellowing top screen. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this top screen out of this DS and hope that it hasn't corroded. That's very rare. I honestly have no idea how that even happened. But we're going to do it. So basically, we're just going to do it. Disassemble this guy. Part 2. Alright, here we have our top screen that we are actually going to use. The cable is in pretty much perfect shape. Set that aside, and now we will disassemble our donor console. And here is our single piece that we need for this console.
Later.
So this piece, the single piece that I needed to use, as we see on this side, the 4 screw holes, dude, this one is just massive. And this plastic piece is the culprit, so it needs to be placed back. So I'm going to place it back in there as best I can and get some glue in there to keep it in place, and then that should be a-okay. But I've never ever seen anything like this happen, so something bad must have happened to this DS for this here to happen, that's for sure. It does only go in one way, which makes it easier for me, but it's just really stubborn. All 4 screws are not necessary, except this piece right here is what helps keep the rubber pad in place. The rubber pad that goes over the screw won't have anything to stick onto if this is not in place. So that's why this like needs to be in place. Looks a good bit better. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's pretty much as best as I can do. So we'll let that dry, but we can continue with assembly. Nothing is going to get in the way of that drying. Trying to clean up the excess. I'm even going to take this hinge out of here and use the one that was in my customer's DS so that it feels like it's, I mean, his DS, because I mean, well, it is going to be his DS. So now, while we let this dry, I can start by disassembling his console. Bam bam, what a beauty. This thing is in such nice shape. I'm going to disassemble the first parts of the console first before I touch these rubber pads because I don't want to do any more damage to the top screen than I need to. These rubber pads are pretty much toast. No reason to be careful with them. Now let's screw open the device. Here's his D-pad rubber and his ABX file rubber. They're pretty crusty. We'll get those cleaned up. Here's his bottom screen. We can see the contacts on all of the buttons are very grimy. So I'll get those cleaned up too. And the buttons, as I mentioned earlier, since they're yellowed, I'll be swapping those with really nice condition white ones. So now that we have this piece free, we are going to be using these 4 square rubber pads, so I do not want to puncture them. I need to be as careful as I possibly can be with these 4 rubber pads. I'm not going to poke them like I did the other ones. I'm going to go around the edge and scratch up this shell piece instead of ruining these rubber pads. So we can see it's a nice shape. There's likely going to be a really small mark on the side of all of them, but that is the best that can be done. Now let's unscrew these screws. I'll be reusing these cables. I'm pretty much reusing everything that I possibly can, because I mean it was all working and in good shape. So no, I don't need to be the most careful with this top screen since it's already broken. Technically it's got dead pixels and some water damage, but here we have it. We'll clean it up and reuse the lens. So here's his old shell piece. We need these long rubber pads out of here. We will be reusing them. So now, like I said, let's clean off this top screen. Now it has some marks on the inside. It's going to be really hard to clean them. So first, this is our LCD that we're going to use. I'm going to peel up the top lens to break free the adhesive. Going to get a quick glance and set it right back down. There was no dust in there, so that's fantastic. So I'm going to peel this up now. Okay, most of those spots stuck to the LCD itself, as we can see. So I want this to be as clean as it possibly can be. It has a couple marks from those spots on the top screen. Trying to rub them away. Sometimes they don't rub away. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this top screen. That's super easy to do, and I know there's no dust in there. So now I need to get this lens in here and then plop this right over the lens. And now I can see what's inside, and it looks like we did a pretty good job. Because on first glance, I don't see anything in the top screen. So I'm gonna get this seated. Gonna let the lens stick to this top screen here. And now I'm taking it out. And now I can get a better look. Once I clean it again, see if there's any dust or anything. I really don't want any dust in here. That's phenomenal. I can't even see the spots that were in the old top screen, so that is fantastic. A win in my books. So now, we're gonna take this replacement piece here. Well, first, I can see there's some dirt around the top screen border, so I'm actually gonna clean that up a little bit. You can see there's a line of dirt here. Get that cleaned up. So now I gotta curl up the top screen cable, put it through its hole. Alright, so just like this. Put it through. Bam, bam. Just like that. Now let's get our microphone cable in place. Route it properly, just like that. Now let's get the Wi-Fi antenna cable on through and where it lives. Now we can get these speakers in their places. I'm gonna make sure the speakers have their little rings around them. This one does have its ring around it. This one does not have its ring around it. The old top screen has the ring, and it very well does, so get that in place. Don't want to forget that. Now let's clean off this top screen, make it look pretty, and then get this piece on here. And that is it for the top screen piece. Now we can see it's still bowing a little bit here. Over time that should get better, and even if you just massage it like this sometimes, it can help it get to where it's supposed to be. But either way, that line is really not visible. Only at a very certain angle it's visible. So that's good. Looks really good. So this is his original hinge. Put in place. Very, very nice hinge, that's for sure. So now, the bottom piece. So first thing, I'm gonna clean up this shell piece. It's got some of that crusty dirt on it. So it's nice to clean it here while we can, because of course it's pretty difficult to clean that once it's assembled. But there we go, nice and clean. So now, gotta put these wires through the hinge opening. And then get this top screen through the little slit here. This is definitely the easiest way to do it. And then normally you can just pull the cable and drop it on through. Sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling. Never force it. Never ever force it. So now I'm going to clean off the hinge cover too, since got some dirt in there. Can put the hinge cover over the hinge. Slide this plate on. And now we can go ahead and screw it in. Gotta go slow with this. Over tightening can actually ruin these shell pieces. So I'll just go until it's tight. Alright, so now, if I open it, open the hinge, bam. Look at that, dude. So nice. Look how nice this thing looks. I hope he's gonna like it, man. I hope he's gonna like it. So I'm gonna route this mic cable over here. I like to put my thumbnail up against here and then pull the mic cable upwards like that. It really helps out. So now I need these new buttons to be put into place. Well, not new buttons, they're used, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to reuse his old rubber membranes. These are his buttons. I'm going to ship those back with him. I'm going to clean up these rubber membranes. Again, I want to reuse everything that I possibly can. Of course, if there's a tear in any one of these buttons, then I cannot use it. But that's in good shape. It was just a little dirty. Same for this ABXY rubber. Pretty dirty. Ah, geez. Yep, I'll have to use another one. This one is very similar. There's two different types of ABXY rubbers, as we can see here. These are the two different types. This one, they are smaller and more pointy. This one, they are much wider. The smaller ones that are more pointy typically have better feedback, but these ones typically last longer. So I will put this here. Unfortunate that it's a new one, but that old ABXY rubber was clearly on its way out, so I cannot use it. Now this motherboard here, I need to clean up these golden contacts. How I do that is literally a Dremel. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but this is my job. It saves so much time than using sandpaper. Clean it off. Now these will work like absolute new. I have not tested the shoulder buttons. I really should have tested the shoulder buttons before I did any of this, but I'm goofy, I'm silly, I did not do that. Let's get this bottom screen plugged in place. And let's get the digitizer plugged in. Here we go. So now this guy is ready to be put into our shell assembly. Plug the top screen in. Close that flap. And bring the sucker down. Sits right into place, and now that I've folded the mic cable like I did earlier with my thumbnail, we can just put it right in place. And this guy, I can straighten out as best I can, and then put it here, push it on through. Just like that, guys. Now this is his original Wi-Fi chip as well, of course. Plug that into place. Twirl that around and plug that into place. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get two of these screws in here into the motherboard. Dude, look at that, man. At first, you can't even tell that the top screen was a little more yellow than bottom. I'm so happy. And these are against white screens, too. If you don't see it against this white screen here, you're not going to see it during gameplay. We'll test out the shoulder buttons. Does R work? It does. Does L work? It does. See, from this angle, you can tell that both screens are yellow. And as the angles go on, it looks more and more yellow from any angle except for the top angle for some reason. The top angle always shows the screens as being white, but man, that is awesome. I'm hyped with how this is turning out. I want to clean up these shoulder buttons. They have some dirt and gunk in the crevices here. Now, my customer also asked me to polish the top plate of the DS, so I will do that for him. It honestly doesn't look like it even needs it. It's in such beautiful shape, but he asked for it. Gonna give it a very light polish because there's only so much it can do, and on a DS that's already in such nice glossy shape, you really don't want to go too hard with that polish compound. It's really only meant for things that have heavy wear. So now I left the screws in these things because it makes assembly so much quicker and easier, but I'm still gonna go around the outer edges of the device, which get the most gunk, and clean it all off. Now it's time to put this plate back on. Bam, just like that. Went on super easy. Let's get these screws in. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Gotta give this guy a little bit more of a cleaning. It has some dirt in there. The battery compartment's one of the dirtiest places in the DS, because that's just where, I don't know, it's just where most dirt gets to. Brush it out of there. Pop the battery back in. Look at how dirty. Not for long. Alright, man. Now the battery door, you gotta go only as tight as it allows you. Anything tighter than that will bend it. That's right there. It's supposed to be loose like that. The dirt over time is what keeps it from doing that, but you do not want to go any tighter than that. I'm going to put this rubber pad in place, but we can see the adhesive is still kind of there from the old one, so definitely want that out of there. Get this guy in place, and get this guy in place. Basically brand new form. looks so much better. That looks so nice. Let's get that cleaned up. Yeah, like, I mean, a polish really isn't gonna do anything for this. I mean, it's already in such nice shape. Let's get the inside of this DS cleaned. Now let's get these screws in. Get our final touches back on. Alright, that looks awesome. And again, you can kind of see from this angle when light is shining on it, but otherwise it's pretty hard to notice. Get them turned on. Hi guys. Man, the screen matches perfectly. Honestly, it matches perfectly. I will still do what I can to get rid of that yellowing. Dude, the D-pad. I mean, just the buttons look so much better. They're not glossy whatsoever. They're totally matte, which means they've barely been used. And yep, they are original Nintendo. I don't settle for anything less. So earlier, I pulled out the original longer rubber pads. I'm not even going to use them. These ones are in fantastic shape. Make sure the touchscreen works. It does. Feels awesome too. Alright, there's some dirt. Kind of see from that angle. That cleaned up. Now the bottom screen has some dirt in all of its corners. Get the dirt out of there. This DS is really nice. Now, as per his request, I will polish. This is the polish that I use. My customer's DS is getting the treatment right now, dude. So first, this pad, it needs to be washed. I haven't washed it in a long time, and this one is brand spanking new. I'll use this pad to buff his DS, and also, I'm going to give it a little wax coating. Yes, I use car detailing products for my DS Lites. Let's get a little bit fresh compound for this DS. It's not a lot whatsoever. Like I said, you really don't want to go too heavy with this. Super light. I let it run its course, and now that's good, so gonna clean it off, and we'll see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty similar. It might look a little better. It might look just more new, I guess. So now I'm literally going to spray some wax, rub it on, and then we'll wait like 30 seconds and rub it off.
A few inches.
All right, guys, I'm gonna wipe it off now, buff it out. Feels amazing. Over time, it'll go away, but yeah, this DS has officially been wax coated, and man, does it feel high quality, I'll tell you. Pop some games into it, make sure it can at least read some games. Oh yeah. So what I'm gonna do for the yellowing is a barely yellowing that is on both screens. I'm gonna leave it on max brightness, like that, max brightness, and I'm going to leave it on totally blank white screens for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, however long it'll take to make the yellowing invisible. It basically takes the yellowing away. So I'll leave the DS like this. I can even close the DS since it's frozen. I'll close the DS, you can see the screen's still on. Leave it closed, leave it plugged into a charger, on and off. So that is what I'll do to get rid of the yellowing, and then I will update you guys with a picture and right now. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. It's quite small. Anything like that really helps my channel grow and gets to the next level. I really appreciate you guys. I spend a lot of time on my channel trying to help it grow. So if you'd like to support me, just leaving a thumbs up and subscribing is the best thing you can do. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.